All right, I think we are live and we are recording. Hello and welcome to the Nintendo House Podcast, episode 270 something or other. And tonight I am joined by the wonderful and fantastic Barry Carenza. Woo! Welcome in, Barry.
Thank you for having me so much.
You are, I believe, our most recurring guest on this show, and every time we have you on, people always talk about how cool this guy is. He's just a fascinating guy. Well,
You don't have to lie. It's okay.
if you like Barry as much as you say you do, you should go check out all of the projects Barry's working on, where you can hear his lovely voice all the time, over on Nintendo Fuse, over at Premium Edition Games, and yeah. Any other projects you want to shout out? I guess you do like 3 podcasts.
Yeah, we're taking a little break on the premium playcast right now, just because so much is going on. But I I just try and do what I can do, and anywhere wants to take me.
Yeah.
I've had the pleasure of joining a lot of different groups, and I'm honored to be here once again.
Well, I don't actually know how to do the soundboard on this new thing, so good luck to Micah in post. He gets to throw in the theme song wherever he likes. Maybe right here. Maybe not though. Who knows? But let's jump into the first segment. Well, actually, I'm beside myself here. I've completely forgotten the order of things here. I got to ask everybody out there listening, while you go out and check out Barry's podcast, make sure you also check out this podcast on your favorite podcast listening app of choice, because you can leave us a 5-star review, help us get discovered by more people, help our podcast grow, help the community get bigger, and most importantly, you help us to take over the world of Nintendo podcasts. So yes, please leave us 5-star reviews for Nintendo Pals, YouTube, subscribe, hit all the buttons except for the report button and the dislike button. We do not like those buttons. Don't hit those. Some of you may be noticing, I think this is my first podcast with no hair. Well, actually, it's transplanted from the top of my head down to my face. I can't remember who said that. I think that's what my dad said to me. He's like, it all fell off and reattached itself. I wanted to try shaving my head. And Barry and I were talking about this before we started recording. It's pretty great. Having to take I don't think it looks bad either. I think it's a good look. And personally, if my hairline goes back, I'm just gonna keep it like this. I have a pretty strong, good hair. Like it's only been like a couple days, and I've already got like a fuzz head. You know what you know what I'm talking about? Like a tennis ball.
It recedes on all of us pretty much.
Yeah. Well, if I start to really see the balding, I'm going full shaved head for sure. I don't want to try and hang on to any little scraps that are there. It's like, nah, this is a better look.
You know what? That's why I've always keep my hair short, because my dad is bald, and I could see little thinning, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna happen, in a decade or so. So I might as well just keep it short and be prepared.
Just buzz it. Yeah.
That's what I do.
It's convenient too. I mean, it's so convenient. Well,
easy.
Worry not. We're not changing our logo or anything. My hair will be back. Give it a few weeks. But I kind of look like a pirate. And so tonight we're going to be talking some pirate stuff. That's right. Stay tuned for the PAL topic. But before we get into that, let's get into the first segment of our show, and let's talk what you playing. Barry, since you're our guest, I'll let you go first. What have you been playing lately? What's on your gaming menu?
Lately, currently, I'm going through Rise of the Ronin on the PlayStation. It's a fun open world samurai game, similar to Ghost of Tsushima, made by what is it, Tecmo, Team Ninja. It's a lot of fun. It's not the most graphically impressive, but it doesn't bother me. I just really like it, and it's a cool story, cool combat, fun world to explore. So I'm digging it. Previously, I did Dragon's Dogma 2, which I wanted to love that game so much because I loved the first one. and I quit about 33% or so into the game. I couldn't take it anymore. It's very archaic.
Oh, okay.
Like
I'd heard I haven't heard much about Dragon's Dogma 2. The bits and pieces I heard were like it's very interesting, it's very different. It's
oh,
like
it's different. It's got a good story. It's got good characters. All that's fine. But then it's got some things that are just like if you enjoy quality of life, this is not the game for you. So if you like fast travel in your open world, you can do that if you have an item, which is very, very hard to get in the game, but you can pay them to get the item. So you could pay extra money. So if you enjoy giving Capcom more than $70, then it's great. When you go out adventuring, your max health does go down after you take damage. So after a while, you're like sitting at like 33% of your max health as your new max health. And the only way to get back is to either rest at an inn or rest in a bed or go camping. And that's fine if you find a bonfire, you can camp anywhere out in the wild, but you need camping supplies. And camping supplies are very heavy, and this game has a weight system. So the more you have on you, the slower you go, which makes you take more damage, which means your health goes
yeah.
lower. It's a perpetual cycle. And then the real shit icing on the cake is the save system. Most games have a save system where you can save your spots. And this game has two. This game has an inn save where if you're in town, you rest at the inn, it saves. Great, fine. You pay for it, but fine. And the second system is great. You push start and you hit save and continue, and it just saves anywhere you want. That's a fantastic system. Oh, but then there's an autosave. And the autosave happens whenever you're near an enemy or a big enemy will autosave. And that autosave shares the same slot as your save and continue slot. So if like a griffin is like above you and it autosaves and the griffin pounces on you and kills you and you reload, the griffin's still above you and your save is now SOL unless you manage to get out of there. So I hope your last in save is good because that's what you have. It is terribly archaic and it's something that I don't know how it's allowed in 2024. Like it's something I guess they're trying to be harder, but that's unnecessary, I believe.
Yeah.
Um, and then
Sorry, my
before that,
dog going crazy
that's
over here.
fine.
He's very worked up about this.
He's not happy.
He's like, they dare call this a dogma?
Yeah. And then on the Switch, I just finished Princess Peach Showtime. Uh, which
Oh, how'd you like Princess Peach Showtime?
I did like it. If you're a completionist, this is the worst game ever. Do not 100% this game. It is not worth it. The levels are fine if you just want to go through them, but they have unskippable cutscene moments in every level. And if you miss one thing, you can't go back because this game has locked sections. And sometimes it's just, oh, you missed getting it in the jump. Too bad. You want to go back? You have to restart the whole level to get it again. And that could involve sitting through minutes of cutscenes, which doesn't sound like a lot, but there's 30 levels in this game.
Yeah.
So, it adds up. And then at the end of the game, you can use those extra star bits to decorate the castle. So you don't need them all. And it's like, oh, just for cosmetic, I don't care. But I did enjoy it. I thought it was very novel. I thought it was neat. I thought the bosses were very creative. Is it the best of the best? No. Is it the worst of the worst? No. It's an average game. It's fine for families. It's fine for anyone just wanting a little slice of the Mario universe. Um, it's not gonna win any awards, but I enjoyed it.
Well, I have yet to play beyond the demo. However, we have it. My kids are playing it. And my son was telling me all about it today. And how he was like, "This game's so great." He's like, "It's super worth it because there's multiple levels to the theater." So I guess
Yeah.
in his mind, when he played the demo, he thought, "Okay, this is gonna be it."
Oh
Obviously,
no.
he didn't see the staircase apparently.
Yeah,
But
there's 3 levels per job or costume, and there's 10 costumes.
yeah, yeah. So that's cool. I think the whole game seems like it's very kid friendly as well, which I think it seems like a fun one. So I can't wait to give it a spin, but just haven't gotten around to it yet. I just I like on a whim picked up and was playing Mario versus Donkey Kong
Oh, nice.
on the Switch, and I think I was kind of like, okay, simple Mario gamed out. And I'm like, I'll come back to this when I have the itch for this kind of thing again. I'll play
Yeah.
Princess Peach Showtime.
Yeah, no,
Anything else you want to highlight you've been playing?
that's probably it I can highlight. I've been playing other games, but I can't
He's got other
exactly talk
games.
about those.
Those ones are secret.
Yeah.
For me, I have been playing a lot of Vampire Survivors on
Oh,
on Switch. I picked up the Among Us DLC, and I just finished last night unlocking every single Among Us character. And
nice.
some of them were pretty challenging to get. I mean, not like crazily so, but for me, I try and play each time. I try and go for like a different setup. I don't just go for the same thing that I know works every single time. In that game, there's like arcanas, I think is what they're called. At the beginning, you get to pick from a set list of like 20 of them. I have them all unlocked, so you get to pick from a set list of them, and each of them does some thing like, oh, these listed weapons have a chance to freeze enemies. These listed weapons cause explosions. Your weapons will constantly grow and shrink between 50% either way. And by picking each of those, I kind of get to this point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick this and I'm going to build around this arcana. And then I try and pick ones that will stack nicely together. And that's how I've been playing. So I went for like a freeze run. I went for like a run where it's like explosions. Yeah, it's very fun. I like the game a lot. And it makes me excited for, oh my goodness, premium edition from the direct.
Yes.
You know the game I'm talking
Scarlet
about.
Tower.
Scarlet Tower. Thank you. It makes me excited for Scarlet Tower because
Oh, yes.
I was like, this one's a me game. Mark this down. Or Scarlet Tower. So yeah. Besides that, I fired up No Man's Sky on Switch again, and I am at a point in that game that I'm not really sure what to do. Like, there are a lot of options, and it's just like almost like too many options of things I could potentially go try and do. And at the same time, I feel very restricted because I just don't have a lot of stuff. I don't have like a lot of money or materials or whatever. And so, like at this point, it's going to be a grind to get materials and money, and that just isn't that fun to me. So when I fired it up, I played around in it for a little bit and was just like, I need to do something different. I want I it is not available on Switch yet, but I really hope that multiplayer comes to the Switch version. If not, I may have to pick this up on another platform and just play some multiplayer with my pals, because I think that's where I'm gonna. That's the more enjoyable way to experience that game.
Yeah, I played No Man's Sky when it first came out. I played it for an evening.
When
And
it
then
first came out,
when it first, like launch day,
yeah,
I
that's
played it for an evening, and that was the last time I touched that game.
yep, yep.
I've heard nothing but great things since.
It's had a turnaround. It's the
Yeah,
turnaround of a century. That's for sure.
yeah, it's up there. It's definitely up there. It's just one of those things where, to me, that since we talked pirate, that ship had sailed, and
Yeah.
I've moved on, and there's so many other games, and it's still like even thinking. Now, don't get me wrong, I still purchased it on Switch. I got the PS5 version as well because it was launched on PS4. Like I've supported the game, so they got my money. But it's just one of those where it's like, yeah, I still remember what it was like, and I'd rather do a fresh experience. Um,
Yeah, and
sorry.
I don't know. I don't know if you experience anything like this, but lately I will sit down to start a game or play something like this and just look at the sheer amount of time I will have to dedicate to it and go, that's a lot. And I and I'm like, I don't really want to, because I don't want to have to like spend this much time on this thing.
I
Even though
haven't.
that's like an illusion, right? Because I can stop at any time
You
and
can
come
stop.
back to it. But
I don't think I've hit that. There are games that I've started where it's just like in the first 30 minutes, it's like I just find myself like stopping periodically and scrolling through my phone. I'm like, this game hasn't grabbed me yet. Like maybe I'll come back to it, or just I'm not in that right mindset. And
yeah,
then other games where it's like I'll play, hardcore, do everything up until a certain point, and then I'm like, I'm kind of tired of this game, but I spent so much time, I want to finish it, and then I just streamline the story. I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to do extra stuff. And sometimes even when I'm doing that, I'll be like, I'll start finding myself, oh, but there's just one thing over here and one thing over there, and before I know it, 8
yeah.
hours have passed and I've done nothing but side stuff again.
Yeah, it's like it really is like like where your vibe is at for when you pick it up. Like for me personally, I'm in the middle right now. We're in the middle of playing Baldur's Gate 3. I'm playing
Oh,
with
great
my
game.
friend group from college, and this includes Micah. So Micah, myself, and two of our buddies are playing that. And because we're playing with a full party of four, we're missing out on all of the character, like the side character quest stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm like, well, I want to see that stuff, so I need to play another game. But every time I sit and think like I should start another game, I just go no, because I look at it. I gotta pull up my hours here. I have so
What act are you
much.
in?
We are in Act 3 now with
Okay.
our party playthrough, and then
Act 3 is the biggest one, I think. Like
I'm
a
doing
big
a second playthrough with my wife, and we are halfway through Act 1. Uh, and this game I have 161 hours,
Wow.
and I'm just like, I just look at that and just go like, well, I don't want to pour another 40 hours, 60 hours into another place to another play session. Uh it's a funny game in that you can spend 3 hours in it and accomplish nothing and still have a great time. But that's just how it's been for me. And so I have these other games. Someone recommended Kingdom Come, which I think is on Switch. It's got a Switch port. It's like harder Skyrim, I guess. And I was just like, it looks right up my alley, but I go, no, I can't start another game like this.
That's another one of those impressive ports on the Switch. Like,
Yep.
it's amazing the Switch is even able to to do it
Yeah, I
as
believe
well
it's
as
the
it does.
same team that did The Witcher 3 port.
Oh, is
So
it? Yeah, it makes sense.
yeah, one of those like black magic. They sacrificed some goats or something to get that to work. But yeah, but that's about it for me. What I have been playing. Oh no, I played some Played Up. I don't know if
Oh,
you've
yeah.
checked that game out. My wife really enjoys it, and playing just the two of us has been a lot of fun.
That's the one that's like overcooked.
Yeah, kind of like Overcooked, but it's more like Diner Dash. If you ever played that
Oh,
game
yeah.
back in the
Yep.
day, yeah, it's more like that, but with a little bit of Overcooked flair to it.
Yeah, it looks good.
Very
But
simple, but and less like chaos, but it's pretty fun. I do enjoy it a lot. That's it for me. Well, I think with that, let's move out of what we've been playing and let's move into the next segment of our show. Let's talk some Nintendo news. Well, very since we last met as a podcast and since you and I last met, the Wii U and 3DS servers are down. They are gone. Uh yeah. R.I.P.
Sad. And this is one of those things that, you know, this is why physical is important. This is
Mm-hmm.
why, you know, preservation is important. Nothing in a digital age is forever. It really isn't. And people may not care, which is sad, but you know, you if you buy a digital game, you're just renting it. If it's an online only experience, it is only available until they turn the servers off. And how many online games have died? And there are, I think, Pretendo is doing a way you can actually play your Wii U online again, which is fantastic. We have to use third parties to do things like that, but this is not just one game. This is everything. And there's so much content that is now lost, even if you own the physical. Mario Maker levels, of course, is one of the ones. On the 3DS side, there's like the Layton games. They had like 365 bonus puzzles, one a day for a year. Those are gone. Like there's so much content like that. New Super Mario Brothers 2 on the 3DS had
Yeah.
DLC levels, official Nintendo levels. If you didn't download, you can't play right now. That's sad.
Yep.
That's really, really sad.
Yep. And I, we're just now seeing this because really last generation was the first generation to be like solely reliant on digital versions of games. Um, and yeah, I think we lost a bit with WiiWare.
We lost a lot with WiiWare.
Mm-hmm.
We lost Konami games. We lost Final Fantasy games. It's sad.
Yeah,
Big
but
big
I
IP.
feel like that's kind of like just that was like a small fraction compared to what we've lost with the Wii U and 3DS era of games. And what's it going to be when we lose Switch, you know?
Well, there is a theory that because the PS4 and the PS5 they share an architecture, and the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X share an architecture. So the theory is that, Nintendo Network died with the 3DS and the Wii U. The Nintendo Online NSO is going to carry over to the next one and keep. And if they keep it going, potentially we won't have this issue again. But that doesn't change the fact that we had this issue with the Wii, the 3DS, the DSi, and the Wii U, as well as the 360 and the PS3, PSP. There's a lot of systems that this already hit, and there's a lot of games. And while it's true there are plenty of other games to play, it's sad when you realize, like, oh, I want to play those Mario,
Yeah.
3DS levels. Um, you can't go to Nintendo and say, "Here's $1 trillion. Can I please download them?" And they're like, "No." Like, sorry, even $1 trillion won't buy it for you. Like, that is a problem, and that is where preservation is important. And what Nintendo is doing, at least with free DLC, is they're reprinting their carts. A lot of people don't realize this. They are reprinting their Switch carts, and every time they do a reprint, they update the file on the cart. So whenever there's a game with free DLC like Mario Tennis and Mario Odyssey, Metroid Dread, there are carts out there that contain the entire added content, and you can get those carts. And at least if the servers go down, or when the servers go down, you don't have to keep data on your Switch, and you can absolutely enjoy that extra content. So there's going to be a big differentiation down the road when it comes to pre-owned, where people will be like, "Oh, well, this version of Mario Tennis is worth this, but this one's worth significantly more because you get all the content." Even though
Right.
Nintendo does not charge any difference, it's the same price. They don't advertise it either. They're supposed to advertise what version on the back. Above the barcode, there's 5 zeros, which means first print, and then all 4 zeros and a 1 for second print. But sometimes they don't change that, and you could buy a game and it says all 5 zeros, and on the back is 0004, which means it's the fourth revision. So you have no way of knowing.
Yeah, and it's not. It isn't advertised.
It's not advertised at all.
Like at all. Yeah. Yep. Um, but that's where we're at with it. You mentioned Pretendo is a group looking to build custom servers that will replace the Wii U and 3DS family of systems. And I think that's just kind of going to be where it's at. If some of these games will be lost to the void, people can pirate them, and then Nintendo will issue takedowns to those, and will and the cycle will continue.
See, it would be one thing if they allowed this stuff, if they stored the stuff, if they saved the stuff. And it's pretty ironic because Nintendo made a big point in their last direct how they're doing Nintendo Museum, right? They're opening up a museum and all that.
Yeah,
That's a whole point of a museum is to learn about history and to preserve history. It's to show this is, important facts or important articles or important artifacts of human civilization, or in Nintendo's case, Nintendo's upbringing, um, and to preserve it and to show it and to educate and to teach. And then you go ahead and you let content, your own content, let alone third party content, dissipate.
yeah,
Now, I'm
yeah,
sure like those Mario levels are backed up on their servers. I know they are, but we don't have access to that. So hopefully they do some kind of new Super Mario Brothers All Stars, for example, and include those levels, kind of like they did with the e-reader levels with Mario 3 on the GBA, which was nice to see that they did that. Although those are from on a physical card, so technically you can still buy the e-reader cards and you can still access those levels. It's just nice that they're doing little things like that. So hopefully they continue.
yeah. Well, and the thing that would be really nice is if there was just like a true open library, especially
Oh
for
yeah,
these little games, even if it's a service like what we pay for with NSO,
and so
right? Um, which they are still adding to. I think we got 3
yeah,
new games just
yesterday I think it was.
yesterday, today maybe. Yeah,
Yes, it
yes,
was
yeah,
yesterday.
yeah, yeah. And one of those was Wrecking Crew 98, which I think was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, but with uh, but that's just a drop in the bucket for the
Oh yeah.
library of games, right? Like there's so much available.
Well, I mean, yeah, yes, 100%. They can't, and of course, like stuff like, and there's emulations that does exist, but with like the NES, for example, they only have access to their games, and
Right.
not even all their published games. They published a lot of games on like the Super Nintendo that they may not have the license for anymore, even though they published it. The license might have expired. So they have to go and get these licenses, and that takes time and that takes money. And what I think most people are hoping for is like the Switch 2 NSO just keeps going. So like in the Switch 2, if you have NSO, you could download the Nintendo app and just keep playing, and they just keep adding it because both systems can support it.
Oh, man,
That's great.
I want to interject here and say, like, man, I really hope that they bring Virtual Boy games.
That was
These
a
are
missed
games.
opportunity on the 3DS, let me
Yeah,
tell you.
these are games that like even without like the actual 3D functionality would be cool to
Yeah.
play. Would be
There,
cool to they're pieces of history.
there is a 3DS emulator for Virtual Boy that works with 3D that you can, if you like mod your system, you can get.
I don't have a modded
I don't
system,
either, but
but yeah, that would be
like
cool.
someone did do it. But you're right. There's a lot of Nintendo games that have never gotten re-released, and the only way to play them is in the original hardware. And ideally, a giant library would be fantastic. The problem with library as a service, which is what NSO is if you stop paying, you lose access to the library, and that library is still hosted on a server. That library is not downloaded to your or it is technically downloaded to your system, but you can't access it. There's a key. So if there's a way for them, even if they said, look, $200 and you get access to all the NES games legally that we keep adding there, or
Yep.
$200 for NES, SNES, whatever. Like it might seem high, but as long as they keep adding to it and you get it natively on your system, it's still digital, but at least it's native on your system. You
Right.
can play it without an internet, you can play it without checking in. That would be nice. But
Yeah.
there's so many games that we can't play legally at all.
Yep.
And it
Yep.
sucks.
It
especially ones
does.
that never
It
came here.
does.
Like you mentioned, Wrecking Crew '98. So many people in America had no idea there was a second Wrecking Crew game.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we've talked this one to death, but yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I think it would be really cool if we got some. There should be a better way, a better system.
Agreed.
And for now, we have to rely on the good of others to kind of keep things alive. And that's from people like Pretendo, people like Premium Edition Games. You know, like keeping the magic of making sure we got a physical and also like permanent, you own it digital versions of game, because the industry as a whole wants to move towards
Hmm.
games as a service, rent your games. So I'll we'll move on from there.
Are you sure we can keep going?
Yeah, I know we can. Well, let's talk some other news items here. So next news item here, this was over on the Nintendo Switch subreddit. PSA that Amazon is canceling Switch game pre-orders, and this is for games, these specific games. We got three: Paper Mario, The Thousand Year Door, Endless Ocean, and Luigi's Mansion 2. Not 100% sure why this is. I haven't seen follow-up story talking about, can assume it's supply issues, but man, that stinks. I never trust Amazon for pre-orders. Sorry, they suck. They never get there in time. I have never had a good experience with Amazon when trying to pre-order a Nintendo Switch game.
So I pre-order a lot of my games on Amazon, and one of the main reasons I do is because it shows you if you've ordered it before. And when you pre-order a lot of games, that is very, very, very handy. And
Yeah,
returns,
for you specifically,
yeah,
that's a
and
very good thing.
returns are also very hassle-free at Amazon. And
Yes.
I definitely appreciate. So if it's a game I'm really like, I want to play this day one, like those three games you mentioned, Endless Ocean, Paper Mario, and Luigi's Mansion, I will pre-order at two places. I'll pre-order at Best Buy usually and Amazon. The reason I do it is because one of them is going to get there first, and usually it's Best Buy's, but sometimes it is Amazon's, and that way I can play it. I know if you're listening, you're probably like, "Well, if you just did digital, you could do it at midnight." I don't care. I'm a physical collector. I have other things. When a play comes, I come. But
Yeah.
just preserve, and then the other one I'll just return. Like it's no big deal. Whatever. I'll just drop it off a UPS. Doesn't cost anything. So I was actually affected by this. I got those emails. My orders were canceled, and I was like, "What?" Like it's a good thing I have my Best Buy, but I was shocked. And I don't know if it's something with Nintendo because all three are the only remaining first-party games with dates. I say that because Metroid Prime 4 technically still pre-order it.
This year, I believe, Barry. I'm a believer.
I've been saying it for 3 years now, and I'm tired of saying it. So I'll wait. I'll believe that when I see it. Um, but yeah, it's weird that it's Nintendo, and I don't know if they're worried about supplies. Because you would think that Amazon would order more than enough, like for in stock,
Yeah.
and especially
Yeah,
pre-orders.
for Amazon. Yeah, for
And
sure.
you have pre-orders, so this isn't like speculation. Like, oh, if we order 10,000 copies, will we sell 10,000 copies? This is, hey, we have 10,000 orders already. We should make sure we have 10,000 copies, and then to cancel. And a lot of us pre-ordered it right after like the direct, like when it went live, we pre-ordered it and we still had canceled. So
Yeah.
and it says not available. So I'm wondering if everybody got it canceled or the majority got it canceled. This isn't the first time they've done something like this. Zelda Master Edition was for Breath of the Wild was a big one that I escaped and I got my copy, but I know other people that had theirs
I
canceled.
remember that being
It
horrible.
was
Breath of the
horrible, and it
Wild.
went up at
Yeah.
like 2 in the morning or something Eastern time, or like it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's all these. It's all speculation at this point, but it sucks. And all it does is it hurts people wanting to go physical because they're like, oh, well, screw you, Amazon, then I'll just get the digital version. Some people went to Best Buy or Walmart or Target or wherever, GameStop, and I hope they did, and I hope they get their money. Bezos doesn't
Yeah.
care. He wipes his ass with $1,000 bills anyway. So it's just one of those cases where I wish we know the answer. I hope we know the answer, and it baffles me why they would cancel pre-orders on first-party Nintendo games when you already have the order in. It's a guaranteed sale at that point.
Yep. Yep. I hear you 100%. Uh, I don't trust Amazon with pre-orders. As much as I'm not a fan, if I want to get a game, I'll probably go through GameStop or Target, because I've had better luck with those. But yeah, this is lame. But always have a backup plan as the Barry tactic.
It is. It works for systems, by the way. That's what I do. I got 2
Oh yeah,
PS5s, I got 2 Switches, and I got 2 Xbox Series X's at launch.
I had pre-orders for the Zelda OLED in 3 spots, and just ended up going with the one that
Yeah.
I got. So
Oh, you only got one of them?
yeah, well, once I had the alert, I was like, okay, cancel my pre-orders
yeah.
there, because especially if you're doing for pickup, right?
Oh, yeah, pickup, yeah.
You don't. I cancel it. I don't need to go pick it up, and then
Yeah.
they just have extra stock there, which is good for them
yeah.
anyways. Usually for a console, for sure.
See, that's one of the nice things, like the PS5, I got 2 of those, and those were hard to find, and I had a friend of mine who didn't get one. I said, "Just pay me MSRP plus tax," like what I paid, and he was able to get it, and it was great. So I was like, I secured it for myself, and then I was able to help out a friend. So,
Yeah,
you never know though.
yeah. We're always looking out for each other in all these Discord communities too. Like, hey, anybody looking for this? I've got an extra pre-order or whatever. So, yeah. Next news item. Let's talk about the BAFTA Awards real quick. We had the 20th BAFTA Game Awards, and we had, as reported by our very own Monkey Thunder, the Super Mario Wonder won the Family Award and the Multiplayer Award at the BAFTA Awards, and Tears of the Kingdom wins Technical Achievement, which both deserved. I think
Absolutely.
Mario Wonder was a fantastic family game, great multiplayer. And Tears of the Kingdom it's the peak of what the system can accomplish, and you just it keeps going, and you go, how did they do this on this system?
You know what the weird thing? First off, 100% right, and I think for those that look at it and go, "Well, it's just Breath of the Wild with extra stuff." It's the technical aspect comes from the building and the crafting and how it all works, and it works with the world. Like that's
Yes.
insane. But another insane thing is we're 1 month away from Tears of the Kingdom being a year old, and it does not feel that way.
No, it doesn't. You're 100% right. And like just on the just off rip, 3 times as big of a map, right?
Yeah.
Like they added an entire underground that's as big as the overworld, and then there's a whole sky island, and then on top of that there's all these caves that they added as well that are like in between underground, right? And it's like, this is huge. This game is massive. It's so big. And like you said, we're fusing you can fuse anything together. You can pick up anything and move anything. Physics on everything. And all of that in this one game is it's actually insane how they were able to do that. Like, games struggle to run well, like Tears of the Kingdom, on 10 times better hardware, right? Like it and they know their stuff.
Yeah.
They really optimized this game.
That's the truth, is that Nintendo knows their architecture, and that's when everyone's saying, like, Nintendo should go third party, Nintendo should go third party. Nintendo, by being first party, by making the architecture, they know how to work it. If
Yeah.
they're dealing with a PlayStation or an Xbox, they have no idea. And you could say, well, they have dev kits. That doesn't mean crap, because tons of games come out on any of those systems and they're not optimized, including the Switch. Nintendo knows their architecture better than anyone else. People are talking about how games are now 150 plus gigabytes, and like Zelda games,
Baldur's Gate 3.
all this, and Zelda fits on a Switch cart.
Yeah.
A Switch cart. That game is massive. How
Yeah.
Mario Odyssey is like 8 gig or something like that. Game is huge.
Yep.
How are they able to do this? And the other ones, oh, well, the graphics are better. What? No, no, they don't. They're just not optimized. When you code, you can code many different ways. It's just like English or any language. You can say something with few words or a lot of words.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that was a long way to say you need water.
There
Um,
there is a lot of tricks happening under the
yes.
hood that
Oh yeah.
that the regular consumer will never really know or appreciate. And it's kind of I don't know, it's kind of similar to something like what you see. Have you ever been to like one of the Disney parks or
Yeah, of
Disney
course.
World? And you go there and you're like, wow, it's so clean. But if you like stop and pay attention to how many workers there are making sure the experience is optimal, and you don't really pay attention, but there's like people will pop out like messes cleaned. It's magical because there's a lot of work going into
Oh yeah.
the to what's happening. And Nintendo is doing a lot behind the scenes with how they develop their games. Um,
And
yeah, yeah,
there's also other talented studios like Panic Button, right? They got like Doom, you know, 2016 and Doom Eternal working beautifully on the Switch. And
yeah,
then you get
yeah.
people Skull Island, Rise of Kong and Troll and I and they're hot garbage of performance. And it's like, well, the Switch isn't powerful. No, the Switch is not as powerful. Fact. But it's not weak either. And if a game is optimized, it will run fine. It just needs to be optimized. And a lot of programmers will just like they're using a program that just click a button and it goes, oh, look, now this is the Switch version. Oh, this is the PlayStation version. And they don't touch it. And that's fine as long as the game runs okay. And a lot of times it's not as easy as just clicking a button. It needs to go
Right,
be brought in and
right.
optimized and that's what you need someone to do. And that's a lot of extra work. And is it worth it?
Yeah. And I think a lot of big companies say, "Nah," and they don't optimize it, and then we end up with Mortal Kombat 9.
One,
Yeah,
Mortal
or
Kombat 1.
Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah, exactly. That's a prime example. Mortal Kombat 1 could run. I mean, look, Mortal Kombat 11 ran on the Switch. Was it the best version? No. But did it look like Mortal Kombat 1? Absolutely not. So this
Yep.
could run. It just was not optimized. It was rushed out and poorly. And people called them out on it. And I think it's great that they called them out on it.
Yeah.
And then you look at other things, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Witcher 3. These are games that are massive and they run on the Switch. Do they run as well as the PS5? Are they as pretty? No. But it doesn't matter. You're taking this portably. You're getting the both versions in one. It's older architecture and it runs. And the fact that it runs as well as it does, it shows that this team knew what they were doing. They took their time and they optimized it.
Yep. Yep. Um, I got nothing else to add to that. So next news item here, and the last one for me before I throw it over to Barry, and we can talk some premium edition games. Is GameStop is including a special Nintendo 64 lapel pin with a purchase of the NSO expansion pass. I actually was in store and saw these. They look pretty cool. Unfortunately, I already have my Nintendo Switch Online, so it doesn't really. I don't really need this. They're cool though. It's cool little pin. Pins are fun to collect.
Yeah, I like when they do the stuff like this. It just kind of sucks for those that, already support you.
It's like well, this should have been like a launch thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Or you know what? Retroactive, like prove that you have the expansion pack and we'll give you one or something like that. Because like your cable companies or internet or whatever, they
Mm-hmm.
always have those introductory rates and they're always so much better. And if you call them and you raise a stink and you're like, I've been with you for X amount of years and I've been paying this and now I might as well just cancel and then re-up right now and get a better rate. You know what? They'll give you the better rate. They always do. Because
Yeah.
it's like, well, you're going to do that anyways. Might as well just give it to you. So it's the same thing. This is just a way that GameStop is probably looking to circumvent, or just a way to get more money. And they say, how could we incentivize people to subscribe at our store as opposed to on their Switch natively or at any other store? Well, if we give them an incentive, we'll do that. So they're banking on spending X amount of money to pay for these pins, and then use those as incentives to get the subscription. Because while we would pay whatever the subscription pay price is, GameStop gets a cut of that, and they're banking on that extra cut to generate more revenue. That's why they're doing this, and it's really cool. It just sucks for those of us that already have it.
Yeah. Yep. And it reminds me of how when I went to New York, we saw you guys there at the Nintendo
Yep.
store. In order to buy the game controller, you actually had to like pull out and prove
Yep.
that you were an NSO subscriber, which I thought was so funny for a physical thing in the store. It's like, what? Okay.
Yeah, because you have to prove it online. You can only buy it if you're logged in and you have
Yeah,
that
yeah,
membership.
it was kind of a funny thing. Like, yeah, you have to be a member to buy this item. I'm like, okay, Costco. All right.
It was special.
Yeah, it was special. Well, that's all I got for news. But let's talk about some premium edition announcements, because you just just couple weeks ago
Yep.
just launched the spring premium edition direct. Where Nintendo's let us down, Premium Edition will not. They'll they'll always come through with their directs. But Barry, I want to turn time over to you. Maybe highlight some of the. I don't want to spoil everything here. I'm going to put a link to this to the presentation in the description of this episode. So check down in the links so you can see the full presentation. You got like an hour of content announcements and updates. But throw some of the highlights, Barry. What are you excited to be talking about
Sure.
this
Sure.
go round?
Well, obviously, Series 8 is launched. Our next series of Switch titles. We got 3 this time. We got the amazing Gordian Quest from Mixed Realms. It's a deck building tactical RPG with a lot of Dungeons and Dragons inspired elements. It's got over 700 cards, 800 abilities. It is a massive game, 20 to 30 hour adventure. And it also has a roguelike mode, so you can always play something different. But it's not one of those where it's like, oh, deck building, all these cards, I got to build it. It's not that complicated. You get to pick between 10 heroes. Each hero has 4 different decks you can choose from, and that changes how they play completely. You know, it's from an attacker to a healer to a defender style. And then as you play, you get skill tree points, and some of the things you can unlock are cards from those other decks. So you don't have all these cards to pick from. You have a small deck that you get at the start, and then you can slowly add to it at a very, very, generous pace. And then on top of that, you can also upgrade the cards. So instead of getting 5,000 cards, you now can upgrade each card 4 times or 3 times, really, 4 different versions. So your attack that does 15 damage, you get upgraded to do 20 damage now. So you're not adding a new card to the pile, you're just upgrading. Also, there's equipment, and some equipment will give you new cards for your deck as well as enhance those cards. And it's really, really interesting system, beautiful graphics, just a phenomenal game. If you love RPGs, I highly, highly implore you to check it out. That's available right now for pre-order. And then we have Tadpole Treble Encore, talking about older games. This is a Wii U game. This is a Wii U digital game that
Yep.
launched from Kickstarter. Highly acclaimed. You can no longer download the Wii U version. It is gone. But they brought it to Switch with added bells and whistles and modes and
This game
levels.
has a fantastic soundtrack.
Oh my God, the soundtrack.
You would think, with its name, but yeah, it's actually really, really fun. Very, very great little game.
Did you review it or play it or?
I've messed with it. Yeah, but
Yeah, it's
yeah,
it,
I've listened to a lot of the music for sure. So
Oh, the soundtrack is phenomenal. Like, it's all original compositions. And this is a platformer. This is a rhythm platformer. Challenging, fun, and then the best part for me is that you can make your own levels, which means you can make your own music. So it's like Mario Paint. You get to make your own
Hmm.
music, and then you get to play through the levels, and it's just a ton of fun. A lot of replay. So that's also available for pre-order right now on premiumeditiongames.com. And then the third game, which is the one you alluded to, which is Scarlet Tower, which I hope surprised the hell out of you when you saw it.
Yeah, I was very excited. Yeah, I was like, let's go, let's go. Um,
So
so yeah, talk to me about Scarlet Tower.
Scarlet Tower is awesome. Scarlet Tower is a game similar to Vampire Survivors, but so much more. It's got 7 different heroes, a ton of different abilities and trees and customizable features. It's got a day-night system. It's got so many hours, almost infinite hours of play time. On the Steam version, has been out for a while, and people have recorded over 90 hours of gameplay with it already. This has a beautiful Castlevania-esque art style. It's actually in digital lot check right now for the Switch, so it's not even out on the Switch digitally yet. We will be putting it up for pre-order on the 22nd. And then this is gonna be fresh, so you'll be able to get it physical not too long after the digital does go up. You can get all 3 of these games right now also in a mega pack, so you don't have to wait till the 22nd. You can get all 3 of them. We have the standard, the retro, and we've got the all-in-one mega packs you can get on the website. So that's Series 8. We do have some Kickstarters. So last time we talked a little bit about Crystalla. That is coming to the Switch, but we're just doing right now the physical PlayStation version. It's going into early access in May on Steam. There's going to be a special demo you could register for. But there is the backer kit. So if you missed out and you want that special version, or you want to support them in any other way, you can use their backer kit. And then we had Godshard Chronicles, which took a lot of people by surprise. This is a gorgeous action RPG that's inspired by Mana, Zelda, Lunar. It's got the composer from Lunar and Grandia and Ace Attorney doing the music. It's got guest composers from other games like Final Fantasy XI and Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. It's got scenario writers from like Wild Arms. It's just an RPG, or who's who of RPG, classic JRPG. This is a 1 to 2 player co-op action RPG, so it's really allows you to play with your family. Beautiful story, hand drawn animation, and we hit so many stretch goals in this Kickstarter because the Kickstarter did end. One of the goals that I'm super excited about, and this was a goal that I did not know was happening. The developer never even told me. I found out when everyone else did. Was a prologue story, a 5-hour prologue story on one of the characters that is a separate game entirely. That is going to be happening and will be on our physical. So the Kickstarter did end. It almost did 6 times its goal. But the backer kit is open, so you can still back the physical, the Kickstarter exclusive physical for Switch and PlayStation. You can support them in many ways through the backer kit, so I implore you to do that. And then we also have Atomic Owl. Atomic Owl is still
Yeah, that
live.
one
It
looked
is
really fun.
funded. It is funded, so we're working on stretch goals now. This is as he describes it, a roguelike Sonic the Hedgehog. This is a action platformer roguelike
I'm all
game.
for making better Sonic the
Oh
Hedgehog
yeah.
games. That's my bread and butter here. We love to really smack on Sonic, and
And
everybody can do it better than Sega. So
well, this is cool.
you
This
can't
is
you probably can't say that you represent,
well,
but I can. I'm not
y-
restricted to say that.
well, this game just it oozes style and charm, and you play
Yeah.
as a ninja owl with a talking blade, and the blade can switch to different weapons from a sword to a hammer to a whip, and just it's like a cyberpunk esque uh, graphics and scenarios and beautiful synth wave music. Just a delight of a game. Wonderful developer. And that's still going on as of the time of this recording. So you can absolutely support it and help it hit more stretch goals. So I implore you to do that. There is a physical, again, a Kickstarter exclusive physical from us. And then we also teased a couple games coming up. One was Carl that we had done before, Carl had to have a delay because one of the things we do is we do not believe in crunch, and we do not want to rush our developers as long as they show the same respect to us, and they do. So Carl needed a little more time in the oven to add extra content, and we wanted to give them that. So Carl will be coming later on this year once the game is done. So we got a little sneak peek at some of the extra stuff. But Carl is a phenomenal action platformer, very similar to Mega Man with
Mhm.
some Mario. And then Curse Crackers, For Whom the Bell Toils, is
Yeah,
just
this
a
one was interesting.
darling. Did you ever hear this game? Has this come out of nowhere for you?
This was out of nowhere for me. This is the first I'd heard of it. Was watching the premium direct.
That's the response we got, and I'm
It looks
sad.
it looks great.
It is great.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
great. I can tell you. I mean, it's already released on the Switch. We've played it. It is great, and that's why we put it in there. And again, this is one of those, because games. I'm not gonna say games are easy, but games are like to make, but they're easy to publish now. Like they're easier. Like
They're
so
easier
many
to get
people.
out onto something. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because there's no physical, so it's just digital, and there's like 20 plus games.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah,
I've done these streams where it's like, oh, I bought $1 games on the Nintendo Switch.
yeah,
There are a billion,
a billion.
and
There's
the
like
quality varies. I'll tell you that much.
Oh yes. So there's like 20 new games a week. So it's impossible to see them all, and this one just fell through the cracks. And it saddens me. It's not the first game we've done that fell through the cracks. But it's always nice to
No,
be able to
you guys
resurrect.
are the champions of finding some diamond in the rough, like some gem buried in the sand, and pulling that out and going, "Hey, this is a great game," and
Yes.
then giving it new life. I gotta ask, like, how does what's the process for that? Do you have someone that's just like going through every day and it's like, what 20 new games got added today? Is there like a premium editions like a research team and they're like they're all
Me.
scrambling?
No, not
It's very
I am head of outreach. But it's not just me. Other team members do as well. But no, pretty much it's a lot of times it's if we see something, if we just see a game that resonates or someone tweets about a game, we'll look into it. We do have a suggest a release section in our Discord. So if you join the premium Discord, you can suggest releases. If there's one that you absolutely love, we'll look into. Can't always make everything happen. And a lot of times developers reach out to us. They say, hey, I've heard of you and I'm interested. Here's my game. Would you check it out? And sometimes it's like, wow, your game is a diamond in the rough. That's great, and makes my life easy. This was a case where they advertised. I just happened to see an ad, and I had to convince them that I was a legit person. I'm like, no, they wouldn't respond to me. I had to go through their Discord and go through their community manager and be like, hey, I need to talk to the developer, like get me in touch with them. And I finally did, and we had a meeting. We hit it off. They're wonderful, wonderful people, and made it happen. And that's the beauty of it, is that we were able to do so. And I told them, I said, look, your game is so fantastic. I said, we want to put it in the hype position. I said, you're getting in two directs. You're getting in the hype position. You're getting in the next one. I said that's what I want to do for you, because I believe your game should be more seen. Like it was like you said, a diamond in the rough.
yeah.
And it's a fantastic action platformer with like the Game Boy, Super Game Boy esque / Game Boy
You
Color
know
esque.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It,
it's just a wonderful game. It's perfect for speedrunners. It's perfect for collectionists or completionists, because there's a lot of collection in every level. There's side quests. It's very fluid. The combat is fun. It's just a real gem of a game. And ironically, it's the second game that we're releasing that is a platformer that involves you saving your boyfriend or husband from another woman, and I just found that freaking hilarious that we've done two that have a very similar like, story. But this it's just a wonderful game, so we're really excited about that. And then just general updates on like the other game, Wife Quest, that I'm kind of alluding to. We have the carts. We're waiting for the last few items to come in, and then we'll start shipping those out. Super Dungeon Maker, we're waiting for the final update. They found another bug. Nintendo came back to it with we wanted all this content update. So there's a big update that happened in December. So we'll have that physical out soon. Anuchard and Lonesome Village are about ready for production, and Sunshine is in lot check. Finally, Camp Sunshine is finally in lot check for the digital version, and then once that passes, then we could begin the physical process. But that was not ported at the time of the direct, and since then I've gotten proof that it is on the Switch.
Yeah.
It's just going through the digital lot check process now.
But,
So,
getting games on Switch is actually harder than you would think.
oh yeah.
And it baffles me seeing how much garbage is on there.
Well, we'll see. This is a case where when we signed the game, Camp Sunshine is an older game. Sunshine Manor was being developed with the Switch in mind. So Sunshine Manor is on the Switch, no problem. But then they had to go back to Camp Sunshine, which couldn't just push a button and go in there. We were talking about the
Right.
optimization.
Right.
This game had to be redone virtually the entire thing almost to get it running on the Switch. So they had to go back and change it up and pixel by pixel to make it work. And they have it working now. And
Yeah.
I'm glad they do. So a new audience can play Camp Sunshine and we could get it for the physical. So we just ask for patience. This is something that is out of our hands. It's taken them longer to do. And again, we didn't want to rush them. In hindsight, we probably would have waited to put it up until this Halloween, but they told us it was going to be up and ready, and it took them longer than they anticipated. So we were going based off the information we had. So we do thank everyone for the patience.
Yeah.
And then something I teased before we started recording. The way I put it is
something new this month.
something new this month. So we launched God Shard Chronicles Kickstarter on February 29th. And before that ended, we daisy chained with Atomic Owl. Well, the chain doesn't end with Atomic Owl.
Oh.
And you'll have to stay tuned very soon, possibly next week, for an announcement.
All right.
That hopefully will blow some people away. I will say that this does involve a licensed IP. So I'll leave that as a little tease.
I can't even fathom what it might be. There's that. I'm like, what's coming out? I'm like,
It's something really cool.
Well, hey, thank you, Barry, for coming on and giving us like the synopsis, link to the direct presentation with showing off these games so you can see them in action, and like interviews with some developers, talks with some of the people, the minds behind the madness over there at Premium Edition Games. All of that will be in that video. So check out the link in the description. I will also put a link to their YouTube channel so you can stay tuned for this exciting announcement, which will be coming this next week.
Social media, mailing lists, and our YouTube does have the trailers. So if you don't want to watch the entire direct, I get it. We have the trailers for the game, but I hope you do enjoy the direct. They are a labor of love. Someone once said to me, like, you could just do a press release. Like, you don't need to do this. And like, you know what, we could, but where's the fun in that?
There's no fun in that.
No fun in that.
That's the most anti-premium edition games thing I've ever heard.
It's like we have fun doing it. We do a press release. It comes after. If you're on our press newsletter, you get the press release, and even our mailing list gets the press release.
Yeah,
that comes after.
Yeah,
but it's a fun thing, and we all put on a fun. We premiere it live. We hope you join. We hope you have fun with it. The developers, a lot of the developers were there live this time. Colorgrave was there. Godshare Chronicles, JCat Games was there. Monster Theater, Atomic Owls developer was there. Scarlet Towers developer was there as well. So it was really cool to see them join in and talk, and people can say, "Oh, your game looks great!" Like a live reaction they get to see. So we have fun doing it, and we hope it's an entertaining show. We hope we didn't bore you, because it's not the easiest thing to do, but we try try and entertain.
I mean the amount of production that goes into that kind of stuff is insane. And you don't know it until you try and do it. You know what I mean?
Oh yes.
Well, thanks for all that, Barry. Well, with that, I think we'll jump out of our news section and we'll jump over briefly. Let's check on the rumor mill. And in the rumor mill, we don't really have much to chat about other than Monkey Thunder, who's got our backs here on the Discord, says the person that first reported that the Switch 2 would be delayed into 2025 originally said that there would be a direct in April, and is now saying that they heard rumblings of any direct in April of that there hasn't been any rumblings of any direct in April, and it will probably be late May, early June. How are you? What, now again, it's rumor, and
Of course.
I was saying 2025 long before any rumors were out. First off, I just want to say that when it happens, I was the one that predicted it. But what do you think? What do you think we'll be seeing a direct here in this month, or do you think we'll be seeing one next month or the month after? What do you think?
So, I'm one of those that said 2024 for the Switch. My prediction was summer announcement, fall release. That was my prediction. If there's a delay, there's a delay. But historically, Nintendo, at least lately, since they've kind of taken indies out of the directs and they put them in the indie worlds, I feel like Nintendo really does 3 directs a year. They do a spring, they do a summer, which was used to correlate with E3, and then they do a fall, usually like September. So usually it's a January, February direct, a May, June, July direct, and then a September, October direct every year.
Yeah.
So
a little bit of a wrench thrown in this year because this direct was just a partner showcase.
Yeah.
This time around, nothing really mentioned first party.
Well, that's and if you look at first party, I mean they kind of tagged in the Mario Day, right? The Mario Day was like a mini direct in the sense.
You're right about
because
that.
we got some NSO games and we got some release dates. But if you look at all the release dates of all the known games, we've got a game in January, February, March, none in April, 2 in May, and then June, and that's it. That's the first half of this year. And with a partner direct instead of a regular direct, and no first party shown except for Endless Ocean, which comes in May, it kind of leads what is first party doing, because every game that's out is really a remake except for Peach and Endless Ocean.
Right. They try and shoot for what? Like it seems like there's a first party once a month.
Yeah, which they're on track to, because Endless Ocean is the very beginning of May. It could have been April, and there's another one in May.
Back.
So
yeah.
So we can call it that. But this is, we know nothing past June. That leads me to believe that even if there was a delay, it was intentional, that there was going to be an announcement in June for the Switch 2, and then nothing for the Switch, or very little for the Switch first party, leading up to that big brouhaha to make sure that the Switch 2 had a great launch lineup. And that fits the bill. If the Switch 2 is delayed, which it technically could be, what fills the rest of this year, my prediction is we're gonna see some ports. We're gonna finally see those Zelda ports.
Let's get them.
Finally.
Where are they?
It wouldn't surprise me if Xenoblade X, like the team that did Xenoblade 1, that port, I don't believe was the same team that did 3. I think the 2 team did 3, and there was a different team that did 1. What is that team doing now? It would make sense if they were doing X.
Yeah.
So we could see that this year. We could see other remakes we didn't know existed, or other brand new games like Endless Ocean that have been in development just quiet. So, I don't think we're going to see another new 3D platformer Mario, or obviously definitely not a new Zelda.
I think the next big title is going to be Metroid Prime 4. I can't see anything really.
We could get 2 and 3 beforehand this year. We got 1 remastered. We can get 2 and 3 to pad out for 4. So there's a lot of options for what they could fill, and I do think we're going to see more ports or remakes.
Do you think we'll get anything Star Fox related? There's been no Star Fox on Switch. It's kind of surprising.
Star Fox 64 is on it, and
sure. I guess ports of the old
Fox
games, but there's no like new thing. Even F-Zero got a new thing.
F-Zero
99. Yeah.
Well, not necessarily. Star Fox did get a new game on the Switch. It just, a lot of people didn't buy it, unfortunately.
Starlink. You're talking about Starlink, yeah.
Like Starlink was the best Star Fox game I ever played.
Yeah.
Starlink is phenomenal. and a lot of people didn't play it because of the Toys to Life. But Starlink is a fantastic game, and it has Star Fox content. It had even additional DLC
Yep.
Star Fox missions. Like that is all intents and purposes a Star Fox game that just features some other characters.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and
You're right.
technically the Starlink universe exists canonically in a parallel universe to the Lilat system. That is canon. Nintendo approved it, so it's
Nintendo
canon.
approved it. Yeah, but yeah, I'm wondering if I can't see them porting Star
Zero.
Fox Zero. I can't see that being a thing. They would have to make some pretty hefty changes.
I mean,
And
they
that
did
one wasn't.
Skyward Sword.
Yeah, and that one wasn't. I mean, Micah will defend that game to his grave, but it wasn't fantastic. It's
I
definitely not the highlight of the Star Fox series.
I couldn't finish it. It made me sick going back and forth between the screens.
You know what? You know what we could see though is we could see Star Fox Adventure remake. We've been getting a lot of GameCube
Yeah.
remakes, and that would make sense, kind of.
Or Assault as well was also GameCube.
Oh, that's a great game. Love the
Well,
multiplayer in there.
Star Fox Assault was a great first level, and then the game fell off the rails after that first level.
Yeah.
The first level was done by a different team. I'm convinced of it.
Yeah, the other game that that was rumored and I would really love to see get some sort of remake or port is Kid Icarus Uprising.
Yeah, it absolutely could fit that bill.
It needs it. That's an underrated and amazing game.
Is Kid Icarus the original's on NSO, but is the sequel on NSO as well? I forget. With Myth and Monsters?
I don't think it is.
No, so that's a perfect time to put that on NSO with
Yeah.
Kid Icarus, Uprising coming. I agree. I think a lot of people didn't play Uprising because the control scheme was really, really awkward.
It is. Yeah, and that's fair. That's a fair judgment to make for it, but if you can get beyond that, like every aspect of this game is incredible. I mean, it's a Sakurai game. It's well done. It's insane.
I think it absolutely needs to be, and I think we're gonna see more of that. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
this is the kind of stuff that we're going to see padding out the Wii U, not the Wii U,
Wii U.
padding out the Switch's life cycle till we get to what I believe is going to be a spring next year release for the Switch 2.
I think we're still gonna see him past the Switch 2 because look, the PS4 and the
sure.
Xbox One are still getting games, and Sony and Microsoft supported last gen for a little bit. So what I think we're gonna see is we're gonna see brand new games come to the Switch 2.
A blurry line for that next gen. Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna see Switch 2 games be the new entries. The only exception I could see was if Metroid Prime 4 is a launch title, I could see Metroid Prime 4 also going to the Switch because people bought a Switch for it and it was announced for Switch. But I do see padding out the rest of the life cycle after that is they're going to use the Switch for these ports and remakes, and they're going to have it playable on Switch 2 backwards compatible. And that way the Switch is still supported, and if you're a Switch 2 owner, you get all the new games and all these ports to really like flesh out your year.
I think that's the way to go, but it's Nintendo, so they could throw a curveball, you know. We could get a system that we're like, why Virtual Boy 2? What are you doing?
I have hopes that we might get a new Star Tropics game now because look at what Nintendo's done, right? They brought back Famicom Detective Club with a remake.
Yep.
No physical, but they brought them back. We got another Code this year. One of those games we never even got in America. We got both games. We've got Endless Ocean, which has been dormant since the Wii, gets a brand new entry, a third game. We're seeing Nintendo go back to a lot of their older IP, their forgotten about IP, and ironically, ones with 2 games, right? Famicom Detective Club is 2 games, Another Code is 2 games, Endless Ocean was 2 games.
Oh, you're thinking of Star Tropics
is
Remastered.
2 games.
Oh, okay.
So,
and then you've got Earthbound and Mother 1.
Yeah.
They don't talk about Mother 3 though, so it's actually just 2 games.
So they're at least on NSO though. So
Yeah.
they are already on the Switch. Uh,
Yeah. I
Golden Sun
agree.
just got
Star Tropics should get a remake. Yes. Yes.
Golden Sun 1 and 2 just went to NSO.
Mm-hmm.
3 didn't because it was a DS, but they're just going back to a lot of their older forgotten about IP, and I love to see it, and I want to see it continue because Nintendo is way more than Mario and way more than
It's
Zelda.
it's a great way to diversify their first party titles with what I would consider to be lower effort than a brand new game from scratch, right?
Yeah,
I mean it's still these are high effort games, right? Like we're getting the Thousand Year Door remake, and I mean that looks incredible,
yes, it
and
does.
there's a lot of improvements and changes to be made. But think about this: you already have the system in place for how the game works. You already have a lot of the art assets that you'll need to like. There's a lot less work to remaster a game with the like a true remaster, not a remake.
Yeah,
And these terms all get overloaded, but what you know what I'm talking about?
of
A
course.
a Thousand Year Door versus a Final Fantasy VII remake. Like that's a new game.
Yeah,
That's a new game. But what Nintendo's been doing is filling in the gaps in their new releases with new titles and series and brand new IP and new entries with
yes.
these uh rehashes of old games. And some people don't like that, but I just think that they're a great way to fill out. I still feel like I'm getting enough new content
Oh, yeah.
in addition to those, you know?
There's plenty of new games. If you don't like that, there's something else, either brand new that you can still
Mm-hmm.
play, or there's something you missed. Guaranteed, there's something you missed. There's so many games out there, um,
100%,
and there's
100%.
so many teams working on this. This isn't like, oh, well, they make a third Endless Ocean. That means we're not getting a Zelda anytime soon. It's a different team. It's not taking anything away from Zelda. You're fine. What I'd like to see is the team that did Another Code remake. I like the original developers that did Another Code also did another duology that was on the DS that we also only got the first entry in, which is Hotel Dusk. There was a sequel to that, Last Window, I think it is, that was only released in Europe and Japan. We never got. So I'd like to see a
Monkey
collection of.
Thunder in the chat. Hotel Dusk. I love that
uh,
game.
oh, there you go. See, someone knows what I'm talking about. So so
I have heard of this game.
it's good. So what I'd love to see is that team that did Another Code, because they did a great job bringing those to the Switch. Do those two games and give us the second game for the first time. That's a great game that a lot of people missed. It's Nintendo first party. Let's bring it in. Get a lot of bang for your buck. Another one, Disaster Day of Crisis from Monolith Soft, was only released in Japan and Europe for the Wii. We never got it in America. Let's remake that. That's Monolith Soft. Hell, the team doing Xenoblade 1 and hopefully X could also say, hey, we're just going to enhance that and port it ourselves and bring that over to the Switch and bring it to America for the first time. And I heard it was a good game. I heard there was some quirks with it. This lets them go back and fix those quirks and make it an even better game.
You're right. Yeah, 100%. And I think that all of these, like all of these, the beauty of them is that be they can be on this system and they can be on the next one,
Yep.
right? And they just kind of it's like those Zelda HD ports. It's like they're holding these in reserve. They're sitting on things that they could just make. And
Well, they did say when the Switch launched that their goal was to have a new Zelda every year. And they did, except for 1 year. 1 year we missed a Zelda. And 1 year technically we got two because we got Cadence of Hyrule as well. But 1 year they did fail. And everyone, myself included, were like, well, this is when the HD ports are going to come. And it was last
then
year.
it didn't.
Or it was
Yeah,
2 years ago. It was 2022. We
right.
didn't get a new one. And that was because Tears of the Kingdom was delayed. So we're like, oh well, fill that spot with the HD ports, and we got nothing. So we still don't have a new Zelda this year. So
It's time.
it's time. Let's get
Yeah.
those HD ports in there because you can almost play every Zelda game on the Switch at this point.
Oh my gosh. And that reminds me, Tingle. Tingle
Yes,
games
3 of them
never
or
been
4 of them,
released
really. There's a
in
fourth.
well we did get
We
Rosie, but
No, we
we
didn't. Europe got it. we didn't. It's in English, but it's
Yes.
Europe. America never
Yes.
got it.
Yeah, so I mean, those are great games.
And there
I
was
was
one that was
playing
only
a
digital.
patched version of the
The dating sim one.
of the dating sim one, and
That was so good.
it's so funny. It's like, oh man, Nintendo is like sitting on some like really great games that just never got localized, and it's like, let's do it, bring them
And
in.
how about the fact that with the 3DS killed, we lose the ability to play Triforce Heroes with people online? How about a Four Swords collection with Four Swords Adventures, and Triforce Heroes with online?
There's so much Zelda.
And the Four Swords, you could still buy the physical Four Swords for the GBA and still absolutely play that version with a link cable. It's great, but they also made the anniversary edition with a bunch of new content that they released for free via DSiWare. Well, you know what?
Yep.
You can't get it anymore.
No,
It's
that
the
was
Zelda
limited. That was limited time. You could only get it for that anniversary. Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, I
And
loved that game. That
it
was
was so good.
so cool.
And
Yeah.
they could bring that. They could bring Four Swords Adventures. They could bring Triforce Heroes, and there was an extra game in Four Swords Adventure, Tetra Trackers, I believe, that was
Yep.
only released in Japan, in the Japanese version of Four Swords Adventure that we never got. They could localize that version, and we could get that for the first time too.
Nintendo, make it so. Make it so. Just throw us all the Zelda stuff. It's baffling to me because it's like that stuff would sell. It would
Easily.
sell so well
Easy.
just because of the names attached to it, you know? But yeah, we're on a rant here. Rumor has it you think a direct is coming. You think a direct is coming for you're
Summer.
thinking E3
E3 time, like summertime,
E3
June, anywhere between late May to
I'm
early
feeling that
July.
as well. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And with that, I guess we're going to see what the rest of the year looks like for Nintendo. Are we going to get more first party stuff, or could this be where they announce the console, the next thing?
Yeah.
Time will tell.
Late June is Luigi's Mansion 2. It's the last one.
Yep.
Last one.
Yeah. Man, I certainly hope we get a direct before then. Can you
Or at
imagine
least
we get after we get into July and it's like we don't know there's nothing announced.
Nothing past Luigi's Mansion 2.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If you remember last year, we went into last year going to Zelda, and that's it, right? Like we went into it like this is going to be a crap year, and then it turned out to be a banger year. And then Nintendo came out with the Mario RPG, Splatoon 3 DLC, Xenoblade 3 DLC, like Fire Emblem Engage out of nowhere,
Yeah. There's surprises in store. Nintendo isn't just like they're At least that's the hope. They're not just sitting on it for the next console. I think
what would you do if they announced that they're going to do the Twilight Princess and Skyward and Wind Waker HD only digital and only available for the next 5 minutes after the direct, and that's it. And then they're taken away.
I mean, that's a very exaggerated form of that, but they totally could do something like that, right? Right? Like,
it wouldn't surprise me.
Like, oh yeah, 3D All Stars. It's available for this amount of time, and then it's gone forever. And it's like, what?
But look, at least that got a physical. What about the first Fire Emblem game? They released that in English. Also disappeared on that March 31st, and you can't get it. Even the physical they released didn't actually contain the game. It was just a download code. So you can go to Nintendo right now. Here's $1 billion, and you can't buy that $5 Fire Emblem game anymore.
Oh, I mean, we're talking about Fire Emblem. There's like a bunch of Fire Emblem games they could
many.
remaster and remake.
And port, even like all the Awakening and Echoes, Shadows of Valencia, and how about Fates? The third game, Revelations, that is only on the collector's edition cart. Do a whole 3-pack. Boom, done.
The Wii ones you got.
Path of Radiance,
Radiant Dawn. Those are impossible to procure through like normal means. They're really expensive. So it's like, make some of these things available. People would try them.
And those are sequels, so they could do a 2-pack if they wanted to.
Well, this has been Andros and Barry hanging out in the rumor mill, just wish listing what we want to see come for the
giving
Switch.
Nintendo ideas.
I hope they take these ideas and run with it, man. But with that, I think we will move on to the next segment of our show, and that is to the community corner. All right. We only have one question in the community corner this week, unless I missed something rather important. I'll pull up here on the side. And the question is from Presto from Off the Wah, who asks, when will we get Arms 2? Will we get an Arms 2? That's a question for you there.
I think that depends on the Switch 2's control method. I mean, Arms was built around the Joy-Cons and around the idea of the Joy-Cons. In fact, it was shown off during that January presentation to highlight what the Joy-Cons could do. So if the Switch 2 uses Joy-Cons or something very similar, there's a good chance we could see Arms 2, because Nintendo has highlighted Arms. I mean, it was supposed to be in Smash Ultimate originally by default, but then got DLC and Spirits. So Arms is 100% recognized by Nintendo, as a first party pillar. And it did do well. I mean, it didn't sell poorly. I think it sold over 1 million copies. So they definitely put it up to be a new Splatoon. Like, that was their hope. This is a new Splatoon. And did it hit Splatoon heights? No. But could it get a second chance? Again, I think it could, depending on the control method.
It has a lot of good. And it got a lot of support too.
Yeah, a lot of
Post-launch.
post-launch support.
A lot of post-launch support. It does feel like it's missing something that Splatoon had, and I don't know what that something is. If it's, I feel like the multiplayer was fantastic and was pretty fun, but maybe it's that, like, there's not really a true solo play experience, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think a full-fledged campaign would help. New modes would help. I mean, they've had time to see the reaction, to see how people played it. They could poll people. Hey, what would you like to see? What ideas? I think Arms 2 is absolutely a possibility, because I fully expect Min Min to be in the next Smash Brothers game, and and potentially Springman or Ninjala or any of the other characters, Ribbon Girl. And the characters were really, really cool. Like, there was a lot of
Yeah.
personalities. So I'd love to see new characters. I'd love to see. You know what I'd love to see? This won't happen, but I'd love to see the next Arms be Arms Cross Teleroboxer. Talking Virtual Boy, talking about forgotten
All
Nintendo
right.
IP.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
virtual,
Yeah.
Teleroboxer, very similar. You could do the mechs and have the mechs doing it, and with the arms, and just have some fun with it. Bring
Yeah,
in some
hey,
reference.
let's throw in like freaking like there's a bunch of games you could throw in this regard. You could put in like
Yeah.
Punch Out characters would be
Well, that
fun.
would be weird because of the extended arm part. But what I'm saying is, with the robots in Teleroboxer. In fact, there is a robot.
Just give little Max some like spring boxing glove things that he uses. I would love that. Donkey
Guest
Kong.
character.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there's a lot of fun
Dalzim
things you
from
could
Street Fighter 2. Guest character.
I'm all for crossover games. You
Bad
know me.
Mr. Frosty from Clay Fighter.
So my answer to this question is I don't think we're gonna get an Arms 2. I kind of think, as much as I like the game and think it was great, I just feel like it's kind of a one-off, and I don't think it reached the heights that they're going to be like, okay, let's come back. They may revisit it in the future, but it's not going to be like Splatoon, where it gets 2 releases on one system. Kind of.
Well, no, so that's why I said Switch too.
Yeah.
Next system. But hear me
But
out.
you're right. It depends on the control scheme, right?
Does.
Yeah.
Does. But hear me out. You say one and done, but it had representation in Smash Brothers with Min Min. Well, Star Tropics has 2 games, and Mike Jones has never appeared in Smash Brothers in any capacity. So
You're right. You're right.
So if a one-off gets into there, then it's real mad disrespect. Where's Mock Rider too? You get Mock Rider in there, and
Yeah. Hey, he was rumored to be in there. That's
he was. It was.
I remember those rumors. Um, Our next question here comes from Ghost over on Spotify. It says, do you like spicy foods? If so, what is your favorite?
I have a very simple answer for this. No, I don't.
You don't like spicy foods.
I have a candy mouth because my mother had a candy mouth, so when growing up, she didn't use spices. I ate everything bland and plain, and her biggest spice was garlic. So I love garlic. So,
That's funny.
if you made her food and you put like a flake of pepper in it, just a flake, she would be able to pinpoint there's peppers in this. I can't eat this. I could eat it, but she wouldn't. Like she was that candy of a mouth. So my wife loves spicy food. I tell her enjoy. She actually taste tests food for me to make sure, like, is this too spicy for you? Oh yeah, you wouldn't like this, or oh yeah, you could have this. So I am not a spicy guy that way.
Yeah, I like spicy, but it doesn't love me back. Um,
You're
and
getting
and
old.
and that's just always been the case. I think it's a problem with my genetics. My mom is half Portuguese, and my dad is Danish, like the whitest of white, like not directly, but like that's our ancestry on that side.
Yeah.
My dad is American. That's, uh, but and so I think it's this battle of genetics where where yeah, I like it. I will enjoy it, but my body can't handle it very well. So
Pepsis
I
are your
do.
friend.
Yeah, I do enjoy a spicy food, and I really like the flavor of a real spicy food. And so if I could get that flavor without the spice, that's my ideal. So like I've had ghost pepper. I think ghost pepper tastes great. I think it tastes really good. Don't I can't do it though because it just destroys me. But yeah, that's my favorite spicy food. That's a tough one. I'm gonna phone a friend. Muggles Moo. What would you say my favorite spicy food is? Yeah. Phoning my wife. Set here.
Phone a friend. Good. Who wants
Well,
to
that
be
was
a
of no
roommate?
help.
What'd
You
she
don't
say?
really eat that much spicy food.
That was your lifeline. You used
There
it.
you go. I used it up, and that's the answer. I guess I just don't eat enough to qualify. Thank you. I guess. Oh, I hard time. But yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy spicy food. I like a nice, I like a nice curry. Spicy curry is pretty good. That stuff's good. And I never discovered curry until I was an adult. I had never had like curry with rice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and wow, that's awesome. Um, Thank you so much for the question. Last question here, and I don't know if this is more a question or an observation, but we got this one from I gotta find it. I gotta find it here. From Ayla Loves Bidoof is the full name now. She's changed up the name, Ayla. We appreciate that. I like it. Who says, "Did you know that you can take Walmart's cardboard promotions?" I took the Mario versus Donkey Kong one home. Parentheses asked first. So yeah, just make sure you ask. But yeah, I did not know that. I've never asked Walmart if I could take any of their their promotional stuff home. I have at a GameStop though.
Yes, I have a GameStop.
I've gotten some GameStop posters that are pretty cool. And I asked at Target, I was like, "Do you guys ever get rid of these displays?" Because Target has the cool ones, like the
Yes.
plastic ones. And the worker had no idea. I mean,
course.
he did his best to answer my question. He was like, "Oh yeah, maybe I could like get you in contact with our manager." I'm like, "No, it's not that big of a deal. That's not a big of a deal, guy." But man, I've been so tempted. They've got Mario on the
Yes,
flagpole.
I want that Mario on the flagpole.
I want it so bad. I want it so bad. I was just like, I just want that in my house. One of these days, you're gonna see me on the news, like
walking out of a Target.
Florida man takes Mario from Target.
Oh, or how you be like Florida man kidnaps Italian pole
Kidnaps
dancer.
plumber. Oh, that's too good. Too good of a headline. Holy cow. Well, with that, that's what we got going for the community corner. Thanks to everybody who submits questions. If you want to submit a question, you can join up our Discord or you can post on any of our social medias. We try and hit them all. If we don't see your question, we apologize. Hit us with it again. We'll answer it. With that, it's time for the final segment of our show. Let's jump to the PAL topic. And in today's PAL topic, we are doing pirate stuff. Yar. Barry, I explained this to you before, but I'll explain it again for those listening. This is AI battle. And for AI battles, each of us is going to draft a team. And then we will pit those teams head to head to see which team is the victor using artificial intelligence. For tonight's matchup, we're going to be using ChatGPT to generate a story that will basically be the battle of our two pirate crews. Now, each of our pirate crews is going to have these roles: a captain, first mate, a gunner, the lookout, the cook, and that's 6 navigator and then the crew. And the crew is sort of a multi-person thing. It's something akin to like toads. Like we pick toads to be the crew of this ship, or inklings are the example I gave to Barry. And so with that, Barry, since you are our guest, I will let you go first. Who would you like to draft as your which one would you like to go? Should we go?
We can go down the list.
Go down the list. We'll start from the top.
Yeah.
Who's going to captain your vessel?
I thought about it and I'm like, you know what? I gotta try and pick ones that you wouldn't pick, or Micah wouldn't pick, because I expected him to be here too. So I didn't want any doubles. So I wanted for my captain, I want Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, except specifically the older version of Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. He's experienced, he's smart, he's seen a lot, he's good under pressure, and I think he can handle my crew.
Okay, so we've got Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but the older version.
Yes.
From the DLC. Okay, I'm making sure I provide all the necessary info for
Xenoblade Chronicles. You can just say Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. The older, more experienced Rex. The Chad himself.
Yeah, he was quite. He aged well. That guy.
He aged well, and he got all three of the girls. I mean,
I don't. Yeah, that part was weird, but hey,
he's a Chad.
All right. Well, for me, I was instantly thinking in the realms of villains.
No.
And I don't know why I gravitated towards a villain captain. But I'm in the spirit of trying to go with characters that we have not already used previously. I am actually going to go with I'm making a last minute change here. I am gonna go with Shulk.
Ooh.
This is a good counter to yours.
Wow, I do have to change one of mine now.
Oh, really? You picked Shulk?
Well, which version of Shulk?
No. I laid claim to Shulk.
All right, that's fine. That's fine.
All versions of Shulk.
All versions, fine.
Okay. Yeah, I thought, he led a group,
Yes.
and feel like with his abilities, he is more prone to being a good leader role than any of the other roles on the ship. But because I stole yours, I'll go next I'll go first on this next one, so you can potentially counter to my pick. We can alternate here.
Okay.
Um, my first mate to Shulk is going to be Bandana Waddle Dee.
Okay.
Bandana Waddle Dee is the perfect second player, right? And
I don't know, Luigi might have something to say about that.
yeah, you're right. But Bandana Waddle Dee looks more like a pirate.
Yes, he does.
And we've used Luigi before, so I
Oh,
didn't want to overwork Luigi.
that's fair.
So we might have used Bandana Waddle Dee before, but I don't think we have. So who do you got for your first mate?
Well, my first mate was gonna be Shulk, but if they worked well together. But
Oh
fine.
no! Oh
But that's
no!
fine.
I didn't
That's
realize.
fine. You know what? I change it, and I'm gonna bring in Isaac from Golden Sun and
Oh
Golden
my
Sun: The Lost
gosh, this
Age.
is broken. You're gonna win for sure.
Isaac led the team in Golden Sun and assisted in Lost Age, and he's got all his abilities to
Yeah.
move and to use Jins. So I figure you know what? If you're gonna take Shulk away, then I'm gonna
Yeah,
bring in
that's
Isaac.
that's a pretty good pick.
Oh,
Okay, all
so then I
right.
guess I go now. So
Yes.
my gunner, a gunner, I was like, oh, what do I do for gunners? There's definitely different gunners, but I figured I'm gonna go with one that I don't expect you to pick, or again, Micah to pick. Akira Howard from Astral Chain. If you want someone good with guns, then how about a sci-fi police force that can use multiple astral chains to switch up their weapons on the fly?
That's good. That's a good pick. Um, for my gunner, I am going with Pitt.
Ah,
He is the master of lots of different types of weaponry,
yes,
and so he is, and and he needs a good leader, right? He's not a leader himself. He's the crew man, and
yeah,
I think he fits very well
that's a good one.
for for this one
I
here.
figured someone was gonna pick Samus, so I'm like, I'm not gonna move Samus in there.
Yeah, I I'm gonna be honest. I'm not sure who to pick for my next one. I didn't have this is the one I didn't have a pick for
Lookout.
is
See,
the
look,
lookout.
this is the last one I told you. I was like having problems with Lookout.
Um, I
You
don't know.
you want to come back to Lookout?
No, I'm gonna make a decision here on the fly.
All right.
That's that's how this that's how I roll here, and I think
It's a tough one.
it it, it is. I think I'm gonna go with Falco.
Falco is one of the ones I was debating on using. I didn't use
I mean,
Falco.
it makes sense for his role in the games. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with Falco. That's
All right.
that's where I'm gonna land here.
I was gonna toss you my backup here, but you got Falco. So I'm gonna go with Kirby because Kirby
Kirby.
can use a warp star and warp ahead and see everything. He's pretty much indestructible. So if you try and shoot down my lookout, you're not gonna really do much. And he can actually inhale possibly your entire ship before I even get to see you.
Yeah, that's a little unfair to put, an eldritch monster as your lookout.
I was gonna pick a Luma, but I'm like, well, you know what? I could just do Kirby. We can do everything a Luma can and then more.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, and like Rosalina would have been a great
Yeah,
lookout in general.
but
And
all right. So
um
Cook. I'm on Cook now.
yes, and I believe it's your turn. So
So since I have Rex, it only makes sense that I have Pyra be my cook. She actually was a cook in the game. That was one of the things she did. And I guess by default that also gives me Mithra. Um,
Okay, all right.
but
Cheating him. Yeah, no, I'm just
but she
kidding.
sucked at cook. She sucked at cooking. Mithra sucked at cooking, but Pyro was great at cooking. So I figured that was a safe cook.
My cook is, of course, going to be Brock from Pokemon.
Oh, there you go, Brock.
He's while this is not necessarily canonical to the games, and is more just an anime thing, Brock was like the best chef ever.
Yeah. Well,
He
I mean,
had
he is in the games though.
he had a frying pan that he used as a drying pan. It's like one of
I remember that.
my favorite jokes. And then I guess it's my turn. It's time for Navigator.
Navigator.
And I am going with Captain Toad.
Ah.
I really hope you were asking about using a single Toad. I was like, I hope he's not thinking what
No.
I am thinking.
I was asking about Luma, because Lumas are a race, but like just one singular
gotcha,
Luma
gotcha.
was what I
Yeah.
was thinking.
So Captain Toad, treasure tracker. He is the ultimate navigator. He always finds treasure. He can't get out once he gets there.
You know what? I will definitely say he is a very good tracker and up there. And I wasn't thinking about Captain Toad, but I was thinking about a different character from my navigator, someone who I think is even better than Captain Toad and often forgotten about.
Oh no. You're gonna one up me here. What is it?
Rob64 from Star Fox. He mans the great fox, navigates through fields.
Yeah,
fields.
you're 100% right. He is Chewbacca for Star Fox.
He is.
Gosh dang it! That's a good pick.
All right, and then the final one, which is the crew. I'm going with the Nopon from Xenoblade Chronicles. All the Xenoblade games, the Nopon are there. They're talented. They're loyal. They're inventive. They're fighters. They're diplomatic. They can handle pretty much anything needed.
Okay. I had a couple different options here now, and now I'm trying to think through. I think I am gonna go. I'll just go with my gut here. I'm gonna say Shy Guys.
Oh, okay.
And that's because they're basically the crew in most games for that do all of the technical type stuff for Bowser. Right? They're the ones that are manning the airships or like carrying out. Well, in the movie, they just freaking fly a blimp. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with Shy Guys.
Okay. One of the few carryovers from Doki Doki Panic into the Mario universe.
We got Birdo.
I said few. I didn't say the only.
Well, no, not the only. Yes. Okay. So with that, we have our crews. And so here's the prompt I'm feeding to ChatGPT, and we'll get a story here, which I will then read out. And I have asked specifically. Here's the prompt. I need you to write a story that simulates a sea battle between two rival pirate crews. I spelt two T-O. I didn't even need to say that. I didn't need to admit that I was a doofus, but there we go. Two rival pirate crews aboard their ships. The first crew will be, and here's a review of your crew. Captain Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but the older version from the DLC. Well, from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but the older version from Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I'm going to put that in specifically.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed, because he's not in 3.
We'll see if this even knows about that. I don't know if the data goes back or goes new enough. But I think if I give it this context, it should be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I specifically saying the older version from Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed DLC. Your first mate is Isaac from Golden Sun. Your gunner is Akira Howard from Astral Chain. Your lookout is Kirby. I'm not going to put from Kirby. I think it knows who Kirby is. Your cook is Pyra.
Will it know who Kirby is? Like, it could be like the vacuum cleaner company, or Kirby the video game character.
Kirby from games. I think given context, he usually does pretty good. Cook is Pyra. Navigator
from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, or
Yep.
Okay.
Navigator Rob64 from Star Fox. Crew Nippon from Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah, just normal.
And then the second crew will be my crew, which is Captain Shulk from Xenoblade Chronicles 1. First Mate Bandana Waddle Dee from Kirby. Gunner Pitt from Kid Icarus. Look out is Falco from Star Fox. Cook Brock from Pokemon. Navigator Captain Toad. And crew Shy Guys from Mario Bros. There can only be one winner, and it should be based off which crew has the stronger, better characters in it.
All right. Here we go.
And I said to please put some twists and surprises in the story and have an epic conclusion. So here we go.
It's generating.
It's generating. Here's the title of our story: The Clash of the Tides, A Pirate's Gambit. In the azure expanse of the Great Sea. Oh, hey, that's Zelda. That
is.
Two rival pirate crews clashed amidst the crashing waves and billowing sails. On one side, the crew of Captain Rex, seasoned and fierce. His ship, the Monado. Your ship's name is the Monado, slicing through the tumultuous waters like a blade through the silk. On the other, Captain Shulk. His vessel, the Bionis.
Oh, interesting.
That's an interesting choice for him to have named his ship. A formidable rival, its crew eager for victory. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, let's see how long this is. Okay, it's not too long. Signaling the commencement of battle, both captains issued their commands. Captain Rex stood tall at the helm, the eye fixed on the horizon. His trusted first mate Isaac by his side. His golden aura of psi energy. Synergy? Is that a thing?
That's what
it's called. See, that's synergy.
Psi energy is from the game.
Crackling with anticipation. Gunner Akira Howard, with her astral chain at the ready, prepared to rain down hellfire upon their foes. Look out, Kirby. His round form perched high on the crow's nest, surveyed the scene with a keen eye. Cook Pyra, her flames dancing upon the stove, ready to hearty meals to fortify her crew. Navigator Rob64, his circuits buzzing with calculations, plotted their course to victory, and the crew, upon small but mighty, armed themselves for battle. Opposite them, Captain Shulk resolute, his legendary Monado gleaming in the sunlight. Very funny that he's wielding Monado against the crew of the Monado.
Well, Pyra is a Monado too.
Yes. But you named the boat that, which is
I
great.
know.
I do like that. That's the name of your ship, which I didn't ask it to do.
Yeah, no.
It's filling in the details itself. His first mate, Bandana Waddle Dee, rallying the crew with fervor. What are we even be doing? Waddle Dees don't.
It's there.
He's just waving his little nubs. Gunner Pitt, his bow drawn taut, took aim with unerring precision. Look out, Falco, his sharp eye scanning the horizon, spotted the enemy's maneuvers. Cook Brock, his apron stained with the spices of adventure, concocted nourishing meals to sustain his comrades. Navigator Captain Toad, undeterred by the chaos around him, guided their ship with unwavering resolve. And the crew of Shy Guys, silent but deadly, readied themselves for the coming clash. As the two ships drew closer, cannons roared and blades clashed. The sea churned with the fury of battle, the air thick with the scent of gunpowder and salt. Captain Rex and Captain Shulk locked eyes across the tumultuous waters, each determined to emerge victorious. Do they ever fight canonically in the games?
Yes, in Xenoblade 2.
In like the DLC, right?
The DLC arena.
Yeah. But as the battle raged on, unexpected twists and turns unfolded. Just when it seemed Captain Rex's crew had the upper hand, Captain Shulk unleashed the power of the Monado, slicing through their defenses with ease. Bandana Waddle Dee, wielding his spear with unparalleled skill, fended off the fiercest of assaults. Gunner Pitt, with his angelic wings ablaze, soared through the chaos, unleashing volleys of arrows upon their adversaries. I didn't even think about this, that Pitt could fly. That
Only
wasn't
for a limited time. But
yeah, for 5 minutes or something like that. Yet Captain Rex's crew fought valiantly, their resolve unbroken. Isaac with his mastery of psi energy. turned the tides of battle in their favor, creating barriers to shield his comrades from harm. Gunner Akira Howard, with her astral chain ensnared their foes, rendering them helpless before her onslaught. Do you think that it knows who this is? It's just kind of
Yeah.
throwing it. It's
No,
with
no,
her
astral
astral
chains
chain.
do it. That's the whole thing. You can actually circle enemies and put them, make them so they can't move.
Well, there we go. Lookout Kirby, with his ability to mimic his adversaries' powers, confounded their enemies at every turn. As the battle reached its climax, both crews were battered and bruised, their ships barely afloat amidst the wreckage of their conflict. With one final desperate maneuver, Captain Rex and Captain Shulk faced off in a duel to end all duels, their swords clashing in a symphony of steel. In the end, it was Captain Rex's crew who emerged victorious. Their indomitable spirit and unwavering determination carried them through with triumph. Man, I lost again. I've lost every single one of these.
It didn't even call them like anything. Like, it's weird that it didn't mention anything about like the Shy Guys versus the Nopons or anything.
Yeah,
like that.
no. With a mighty roar of victory, they claimed their spoils and sailed off into the sunset, their legend destined to be sung for generations to come. But as the sea swallowed the remnants of their battle, one thing remained certain. In the endless expanse of the great sea, the clash of the tides would echo for eternity, a testament to the bravery and cunning of those who dared sail its treacherous waters. Well played, Barry. Well, now we know, according to AI, that Rex is more powerful than Shulk.
Which is, it's so weird. Like, the navigators played no part in it. Like, didn't matter who it was.
No,
Captain
it
Rob
did it.
didn't do anything.
No,
Falco and Kirby did something. Well, said he did something. Falco did nothing. The crew did nothing. The cooks did nothing.
It said they were going to do stuff, and then they didn't, and it just ended up being a final showdown between Rex and Shulk. But hey, a win's a win, Barry.
I'll take it.
And thanks to everybody who tuned in for this fantastic episode of Nintendo Pals. Barry, before we go, where can people find you on the interwebs?
Sure, you can find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Fuse at Hawk Hellfire. You can find me with Nintendo Fuse at nintendofuse.com, social media at Nintendo Fuse, where we do our bi-weekly podcast every other Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern live on YouTube. And you can find me, of course, at premiumeditiongames.com, where you can pre-order Series 8 right now, including the Mega Pack with all 3 games. You could also get a lot of in-stock games that we have, so you could pick those up and start playing and earning your challenge patches as we speak. You can find us on social media at Premium Edition 1, that's the numeric 1 on Twitter, and everywhere else at Premium Edition Games. And also, you can back Atomic Owl right now. It's live, and stay tuned for another fun announcement later this month, potentially next week.
Yes, and I will have links to all of Barry's stuff here in the description of the episode, so you can quick click and get to those things if you're listening and you're curious, you want to hear more from this amazing gentleman here. Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate you taking your evening here to spend it with me talking making pirate crews.
There you go. Thank you so much for having me. That was a blast.
And if you would like to, if you out there listening haven't already, follow us on all our social media channels. We're Nintendo Pals on all platforms. But you can also find me gallivanting about over on my personal channels at Andros1 on Twitch, YouTube. New content coming out on both those. TikTok, Twitter. I'm on all the platforms. And stay tuned for a lot coming to my YouTube channel. I've got something like 40 videos in the works. Wow. Not in the works, but like to do. In the works, I have about 2 at a time.
Okay, I was going to say, you're ahead of the game.
No, I cannot edit 40 videos at the same time, but I have a backlog of videos to edit, and they are coming. So,
so they're filmed though already?
Yes.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Well, I don't know if you caught any of my streams. I streamed all every day in the month of March, and so I have a huge backlog now of things that I streamed to turn into future videos.
Nice.
A lot coming over on Andros1 on YouTube. So yeah, check it out. And then while you're out there, maybe check out our Patreon, patreon.com/NintendoPals, where for as little as $1, you can support the show and help us keep the lights on, per se. And want to give a shout out and thanks to our Patreon supporters. We've got T-Bone, we've got Nick Lanoy, Fedorable Will, Monkey Thunder, Purple Riolu, Lava Plays, John Cummins, Lil Miss 7, Tim A, aka Neoprime33, aka Nintendo Dad number 4. That's his full title there. Seth Sturgill, LPD, Spider Shan, Solo. Solo, I'll always remember you as Solo something. I always want to say Solo something, but it's now just Solo. And of course, the fantastic Mute Dog the Gamer. Thanks to all those fantastic Patreon supporters. We really appreciate all of you and what you do for us here on this show. And hey, if you can't support us through the Patreon, you can support us by, again, leaving us a 5-star review on your podcast listening app of choice. That's free to do. You just got to go over to Apple, Spotify, Podchaser, Audible. All those places let you leave 5-star reviews. Helps the show out immensely. And with that, we will call this a show. Barry, I usually leave with Micah giving us some sage wisdom and advice. So give us your best advice. So what one-liner?
Support physical media before it's too late.
Oh my gosh, that's way better than anything Micah said. I'll tell you that.